Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Back in Los Angeles as the D-backs series with the Dodgers continues. A new look to the roster tonight with some personnel changes earlier today. And BRADEN SHIPLEY takes the mound for his second big league start, facing veteran left-hander Scott Kazmir. It's the D-backs and the Dodgers on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Dodger Stadium and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. We have recovered from last night's wild one and are set to go for the second of this three-game series. And tonight it's our second look, Bob, at BRADEN SHIPLEY after his big league debut Monday in Milwaukee.
Yeah, the numbers might not indicate it, but I thought he threw the ball pretty well against the Brewers. Was the victim of 3 home run balls in that game, including a 3-run bomb. But other than that, I thought his stuff played very well. His command needs to improve a little bit here against this Dodger offense tonight.
Yeah, the numbers don't indicate that it went as well as maybe it did. He did give up the 3 home runs. That's something he's going to have to be careful about tonight.
Yeah, gave up a home run to the second batter he faced and had first and third, 1 out in that first inning, but managed to pitch out of that jam.
And he's up against Scott Kazmir. Mentioned those personnel moves earlier today. And the headline is last to season's opening day starter, Josh Collmenter, designated for assignment.
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks are hoping he'll clear through waivers and be available to come back to the Diamondbacks in some manner. But you heard Dave Stewart talking to Jody in the pregame show. The Diamondbacks want a couple lefties in that bullpen, maybe a little more reliable. Zach Curtis maybe not quite ready for the major leagues right now.
So we'll get our first looks maybe in this series, maybe tonight at the 2 left-handers, Adam Lowen, the veteran, and Steve Hathaway, the rookie. Just about set for the opening pitch in Los Angeles. It is hot here tonight. The Diamondbacks and the Dodgers coming up next.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. By Mike's Hard Lemonade. Flavor starts here. Please drink responsibly. By Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. by Lone Butte Casino. Get in on big wins. By your Valley Chevy dealers. Find a great deal on select 2016 vehicles at the Chevy Summer Sell Down. Visit your Valley Chevy dealer now. By Oregano. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run at Oregano, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by Gigablast, 100 times more powerful internet from Cox. Bring on tomorrow.
Vin Scully Avenue on your way into Dodger Stadium here in Chavez Ravine. The Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers set to go, the second of a three-game set. First pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. A hot summer day in late July in Los Angeles, California. Only 80 degrees. It feels a whole lot hotter than that. As we are set to go at Dodger Stadium, Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson along the way. The second of a three-game set. The Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers. D-backs just 2-6 on this 10-game road trip so far. And a look tonight at your Valley Chevy lineup for Chip Hale's ball club.
Gene Segura will be leading it off at shortstop tonight with Brandon Drury playing second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Ricky Weeks Jr. out in left field, Wellington Castillo once again doing the catching, Yasmani Tomas in right field, Jake Lamb at third base with Chris Owings in center, and BRADEN Shipley, the right-hander, on the mound.
And they'll be facing your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for LA. It's the veteran lefty Scott Kazmir, who spent his entire career in the American League before he signed with the Dodgers in December. They gave him almost $50 million, and he has done pretty well, 9-3 in 20 starts, and still putting up good strikeout numbers.
Yeah, big-time strike thrower, rarely walks anybody. Has a cut fastball and a sinking fastball. Will throw a curve and a slider. His best secondary pitch, however, is that straight changeup.
Our eye on defense for the Dodgers, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Jock Peterson headed for his position right in front of the Death Star out there in center field. Howie Kendrick will be in left. Andrew Tolles in right field. It'll be Turner, Seager, Utley, and Gonzalez third to first across the infield for the Dodgers. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate for left-hander Scott Kazmir.
The crew chief, Bill Miller, is our plate umpire tonight. He'll have the balls and strikes. Todd Tishner at first base, Ryan Blakeney at second, and Brian Knight is the third base ump. And before we get underway, BB, it's time for your Valley Honda dealers' key to the game.
Well, with the recent roster moves, warning shots have been fired. It's time to start putting up or shutting up. It's been a rough season, no question about that. A lot of guys having subpar seasons, a lot of guys wishing their numbers were a lot better. And the moves today, for me, send the signal to the rest of the team that It's time to get it going.
Chip Hale, in speaking today about Josh Colmenter being designated for assignment, said simply it was time for the D-backs to start looking at some new guys, and they have 2 new guys up here in that bullpen in Hathaway and Lowen. But certainly a tough day for the organization, but with Josh, they said it was simply time to move on, and they have to make some changes and see what other guys can do.
Unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. You'd like for every player to be able to go away on their own terms when they leave an organization, but unfortunately it just doesn't work that way. Diamondbacks are going to take a look at some of their other arms at the minor league level, and those innings that Josh was taking were prohibiting the organization from looking at some of the younger kids.
So they have 2 new lefties in the back end of that bullpen as we are set to go. Gene Segura will lead it off against Scott Kazmir. The Diamondbacks and the Dodgers from Los Angeles. Strike 1, and we are underway. Segura 3-11 with 8 home runs. Gene 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts last night. That snapped his 10-game hitting streak. Kazmir will be in and around the plate most of the night. He is not someone who walks a lot of guys. Only, well, let's see, 39 bases on balls and nearly 110 innings this year. At that fastball out over the plate, and Segura gives it a ride. There it goes. Gene Segura, the leadoff home run. That's his 9th homer this year, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Wow, we're just talking about Kazmir's control of that strike zone, and on an 0-2 pitch, he fights off too much of the zone that time, and Gene Segura absolutely mashed it to left field. This was meant to be elevated up and out over the plate. It strays over the inner third, and we know Gene Segura can be really quick on that inside part of the plate.
Brandon Drury in the 2-hole tonight, getting the start at second base, so there's strike 1. That's a jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow from our friends at Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. That was the 18th home run given up this year by Scott Kazmir in his 21st start. Brandon 262 and 9 home runs. In the air, foul ground first base side for Adrian Gonzalez. And that's the first out.
First baseman number 44, Paul Goldschmidt.
Here's Goldie. Now back over 300. He's at 303 with 17 home runs. 3 more hits last night, including that big 3-run double in the wild 7th inning. A 7th inning last night that between the 2 teams lasted 1 hour and 13 minutes.
I would have to do a lot of research to think of a game that was more bizarre than that 7th inning last night. Nothing jumps to mind immediately.
It's just odd to see that much weirdness jammed into 1 inning, top and bottom. Usually it's spread out over the course of a game or a week or even a season, but that was everything in 1 inning last night. Goldie now with a 6-game hitting streak, batting an even .400 on the road trip. A lot of folks in the Valley lost power during the storm last night and missed some of the first half of the game, but if you saw that 7th inning, you saw the ball game. Two and two. Scott Kazmir sticks mostly with fastball, changeup out there, mixes in the occasional curveball. He has not lost a game since May 9th.
Straight changeup right there. It's a good one.
2 down.
Perfect 7-0 for Kazmir since May 14th. 7 wins, 6 no decisions, no losses over that stretch of time.
Now he has won his last 2 starts, wins both on the road at Washington and at St. Louis's last time. Rickie Weeks Jr. the start in left field, batting in the cleanup spot tonight and hitting .246 with 5 home runs. Dodgers put the shift on. They overload the left-hand side of the infield against Rickie Weeks, who has had some very good at bats on this road trip. He drew a bases loaded walk as a pinch hitter in that 7th inning last night.
I told you before the ball game, this is one of the hottest, stickiest days I can ever remember at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, down on the field for batting practice. If you were in the sun, you were sweating. It was just beating down on you. Felt a little bit like back home. Rickie Weeks knocks that into right center field, and he's got a 2-out single.
Which, as Segura's at bat will show us, means the ball's probably going to carry well tonight. Rickie Weeks driving one out toward the gap in right center. The speed of Andrew Toles cuts it off, holds Rickie to a single.
Second hit in the inning against Scott Kazmir. 1 on and 2 outs for Wellington Castillo. .265 and 11 home runs. And another 2-hit game for Welly last night. He doubled and drove in a run. He has doubled in 3 consecutive games now. Last night there was absolutely no wind at all. Wasn't a breath of air in the ballpark. Tonight there is a gentle breeze that's blowing out right to center field. Right around that Death Star speaker out there.
Now the sound waves off the speaker will knock the ball down, though. Overwhelm the wind.
And the people in the stadium. Trade deadline is coming up on Monday. Dave Stewart was saying before the ball game today the Diamondbacks have received a ton of calls about Shelby Miller, among others. But they would likely like a major league ready player in return if they were to trade Shelby. But they obviously are interested in hanging on to him and looking ahead to the next 2 years. There were a couple of moves today. Matt Kemp traded. Not quite yet been finalized, I don't think, but traded from the Padres to the Braves. Pirates sent their closer Mark Melanson to the Washington Nationals. Ground ball for Seager. They go the short way for the force on Weeks Jr. And that's the end of the inning. But the Diamondbacks strike first. Another leadoff homer for Gene Segura, his 9th home run this year. BRADEN SHIPLEY coming up. Back at Dodger Stadium, where Gene Segura's leadoff homer, his 4th of the season, has made it 1-0 Diamondbacks. And so out there with a lead to start the ball game, it's the second major league start for Braden Shipley, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, 24-year-old right-hander. The D-backs' first-round pick in the draft 3 years ago out of the University of Nevada. He gave up 3 home runs in less than 6 innings in his debut Monday at Milwaukee.
As I mentioned earlier, gave up a home run to Scooter Gennett, the second hitter he faced in the ball game. Walked Ryan Braun, gave up a single to Jonathan Lucroy, but then got out of the inning unscathed. Pitched pretty well after that. The home run ball did get him, and the base on balls got him as well.
Chase Utley had a home run last night, and he'll lead it off for LA. First pitch he saw from Zach Curtis, deposited into the Diamondback bullpen. Utley at 257 now with 7 homers. All part of that wild and woolly 7th inning last night. Zach Curtis sent down to the minor leagues before the ball game today. As the Diamondbacks made 5 roster moves. DFA'd Josh Colmenter and Mike Freeman. Option Curtis and have brought up a couple of lefties for the minor leagues. Steve Hathaway and Adam Lowen, both the left-hand relievers. Right away, Braden behind 3 balls and no strikes.
That can be a little unnerving for a rookie pitcher the first time you throw here at Dodger Stadium. We've talked about it before. It can be a little intimidating when you look up at the 4 decks of the stadium, usually near capacity. Like you're in the Roman Coliseum or something.
Yeah, they had nearly 51,000 here last night. Crowd still settling in on a very hot day here in Los Angeles. 3-1 to Utley. Bounced foul.
We've heard scouts say that before about minor league phenoms. Well, let's put him in a stadium with a 2nd deck. Well, this one has 4 decks.
Well, Braden would welcome any relief from pitching in some of those Coast League ballparks, that's for sure. Diamondbacks overload the right-hand side against Utley, and he hits right into the shift. Brandon Drury's out there. A nice throw to Goldie. Boy, Brandon lately, when he's been in the infield, Bob, has looked very good defensively.
Really good gloves. Some of the off-balance throws he might be able to plant a foot and make a stronger throw, but he's made all the plays. Coming in, going to his left, that time going to his right as the second baseman. Here's how the D-backs will line up defensively tonight. Chris Owings in center, flanked by Ricky Weeks Jr. in left, Yasmani Tomas in right. It'll be Lamb, Segura, Drury, and Goldschmidt, 3rd to 1st across the infield, with Wellington Castillo behind the plate for right-hander Braden Shipley.
Corey Seager. Yes, he checked, says Brian Knight. It's 1-0 on Seager, who had another big game against the Diamondbacks last night. 3 hits, including 2 doubles. 1-1. Seager hitting .307. He's got 17 home runs. He was an all-star and in the home run derby this year. That's this one very high in the air, a light sky this time of night. Chris Owings has it just shy of the warning track, and there are 2 outs. Our Valley Chevy lineup for Dave Roberts, Dodgers.
Chase Utley at second base was retired, as was Corey Seager, who will play shortstop. Justin Turner making his way to the plate right now at third base. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Howie Kendrick out in left field. Yasmani Grandal doing the catching. Andrew Tolles in right field with Jock Peterson batting 8th and playing center field, and Scott Kazmir on the mound.
Dodgers have made up 5.5 games in the NL West standings since the All-Star break. The Giants are really helping them out. LA now 13 over 500, and they have pulled to within only 1 game of the Giants for the division lead. Justin Turner laces that one fair by a diving Jake Lamb, and it's in the left field corner. Turner, who has been a very productive hitter since the All-Star break, has his 20th double.
First at bat of the game, Turner likes to attack the first pitch, assuming he's going to get a fastball, and he just rips this one right down the third base line past the diving Jake Lamb. Look at the security guards going over the rail. Look like a hockey line change right there.
Quick feet. Well, Turner putting that 0 for 5 last night behind him. Even with his 0 for last night, he's hitting .340 since the All-Star break. He's got a 2-out double for ADRIAN Gonzalez. Diamondbacks overload the right-hand side again. Drury out there in shallow right field, and SEGURA, the shortstop, right behind the second base bag. Ball one. ADRIAN Gonzalez 1 for 3 with a single last night. 281 and 9 homers on the year. His next home run will be the 300th of his career.
Not only the pull shift for Gonzalez, but everybody playing very deep in that shift. He does not run well. You can back up several steps deeper than you would normally play for a left-handed pull hitter because Gonzalez does not run well.
He's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. More than half of everything Gonzalez hits this year has been on the ground. He's got the lowest fly ball percentage of his career right now. And he's not been pulling the ball nearly as much this year. That's really where most of his power comes from, to his pull field. He's had a bit of a power outage this season, only 9 homers. Three balls and no strikes. The troublesome Howie Kendrick on deck. Howie's going with the stirrups tonight. They walked him on 4 pitches.
Well, not the worst thing that could happen for Braden Shipley. The Diamondbacks sets up a potential inning ending. Well, you don't need a double play. There's 2 outs. Never mind.
Well, Braden Shipley was very clear about what he needed to do to be successful tonight. He said he needs to throw his fastball down in the strike zone, use that sinker early in count so he's getting ground ball outs, and then use his changeup off that. And we saw him throw a bunch of curveballs in Milwaukee Monday, almost like he pitched off that curveball. And that's the pitch, he says, he needs to put guys away with. Got to come up with something for Kendrick here. 2 on and 2 out.
Curveball there from Shipley to start the sequence. Good spot for it. Outside corner, down in the zone. He did throw some really good curveballs in that game against the Brewers. Some of them for called strikes early in the count, others in the dirt later in the count.
He really wants to be able to have that pitch, that curveball, in his back pocket, so when there's an opportunity to put a guy away with 2 strikes, he can go to that curveball. How about those knock sock stirrups?
Like he needs them against the D-backs.
It's brutal, isn't it?
Oh.
He's hit safely in 9 of 10 games against the Diamondbacks this year. Over the mound, but right to Brandon Drury. Good job there by Braden Shipley. He strands 2 and keeps it a 1-0 Diamondback lead. Championship hails D-backs a 1-0 lead as Yasmani Tomas is set to lead off the second inning against Scott Kazmir. And it's time now for a look at the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. The highest slugging percentage on the road this season, Yasmani Tomas, a bronze medalist right now.
Road warrior Yasmani Tomas. Solid numbers on the road. We'd all like to see all these numbers translate when we get back to Chase Field.
1 for 4 in the game last night. He singled and scored a run. Yasmani's now got a 6-game hitting streak. Can't hold up on that first pitch. Got all tied up inside it at strike one. Tomas at 264 and 17 home runs. Really good to see Braden Shipley pitch his way out of trouble there. 2-1 and 2 out. Got that ground ball from Kendrick.
No doubt. Well, that first swing, that's the kind of swing that'll drive a hitting coach crazy.
What don't you like about it? As Tomas shoots this one the other way down the right field line. Tolles quickly over there in the corner, and Tomas will have a double. Yasmani Tomas, the extra base hit parade continues. His 21st double this year.
First swing not so good. This one worked out all right. A drive down into that right field corner for Tomas. Now, most hitting coaches will tell you when you go to the plate, there's nothing wrong with trying to ambush that first pitch, but you should have in your mind, I'm looking fastball, middle in, down around the knees, or I'm looking for a breaking ball up and out over the plate. And if you don't get what you're looking for, take it.
Don't swing.
Don't check swing on the very first pitch of an at bat.
Yasmani among the most frequent first pitch swingers in all of baseball. Jake Lamb the start at third tonight against the lefty Scott Kazmir. Batting 7th in the lineup, and there's ball one.
Diamondbacks with 3 hits in the early going, all against Kazmir fastballs. See if he starts to throw a few more changeups, especially early in the sequence.
He throws a lot of fastballs out there, more than 50%. Missed with that one, and it's 2-0 on Jake Lamb. Jake 1 for 4 with a double last night. 282 on the year. Scott Kazmir, a 3-time All-Star. He was a 15-game winner just 2 seasons ago in Oakland. Now 32 years old, and a guy who admits he's bounced around a little bit, which is something of an understatement. He's played for 6 teams since 2009. Up the middle. Corey Seager has it from the second base spot. And Tomas moves up 90 feet. So Jake Lamb able to move the runner along. That's the first out.
Center fielder number 16, Chris Owings.
Diamondbacks are trying to emphasize doing the right fundamental thing. Move runners when you get them on base. When you get them on third and less than 2 outs, have a good at bat. Make sure you get a ball you can drive into the outfield. Get that guy on the plate somehow. Because this freewheeling, swinging from the heels hasn't worked real well lately.
And it's in those basic, sound, fundamental areas that the Diamondbacks have been lacking as of late.
They call them fundamentals for a reason. It's because they've worked through the history of this game. If you continue to do those things properly and do them right when asked to, you're probably going to get good results over the long haul.
Chris Owings takes a big cut at the first pitch. Dodgers infield creeping in with Tomas at third and 1 away.
Yeah, if Jake is not able to advance that runner to third base with a productive out, the Dodgers play their infield back. Tomas is still at second base, and that takes away some of the opportunities for Chris Owings in this at bat with the infield drawn in.
He's down 0-2. Chris hitting .264 with 2 home runs on the year. He had an RBI single last night, just his second hit on the road trip. Reaches out and pokes that down the right field line. That's a fair ball that drops in for the RBI base hit, and caroms off the wall. Tolles got tangled up with a security guard out there, and Owings is in at second. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Pitcher number 35, BRADEN SHIPLEY.
Good defensive swing that time by CO. Pitch was close to the outside corner. Boy, just got the end of the bat on it. Shoots a little floater over the head of ADRIAN Gonzalez down into that right field foul territory. Yeah, that security guard down there's obviously never played hockey. He got caught in a bad place.
He screened him, and that certainly helped CO get that extra 90 feet. His 11th double of the year. Well, get him on, get him over, and get him in. It's 2-0, and here's BRADEN SHIPLEY, the pitcher. Almost hit a home run in his very first major league at bat in Milwaukee Monday. Banged it high off the wall in left center field at Miller Park. Missed a homer by about a foot, if that.
That was a nice save by Corey Seager right there to keep that ball out of center field. Seager kind of got caught behind Chris Owings trying to get to the bag right there, and Casimir threw it to the first base side of the bag. Almost looked like a blind catch from Corey Seager that time. Just stuck his glove out, and the ball happened to be right there.
How about this, Bob? You would not expect this from a veteran pitcher like Scott Casimir, but the Diamondbacks have 4 hits so far. Segura, the leadoff homer on an 0-2 pitch. Weeks Jr. hit a single on a 1-1 pitch. Tomas doubled on an 0-1. Owings doubled on an 0-2. So he's giving up these hits while he's ahead in counts. Oh, 0-2 on Shipley. See that chest protector that Yasmani Grandal wears behind the plate for the Dodgers. He went to a new one. He had a ball fouled off his shoulder last year, developed a bad bruise, and the injury really wiped out the second half of his year. So he's got all new gear back there. He's pretty well protected.
Yeah, you can see the shoulder extensions on both sides. Usually it's just on the catching shoulder.
Shipley strikes out. Second strikeout for Casimir.
Most catchers don't like to wear one on the right side, their throwing arm, because it kind of gets in the way. It feels uncomfortable when you try to get on top of your throws to second or third base, but apparently they've come up with something that Grandal can live with back there behind the plate on both shoulders.
Yeah, hit hard by a foul tip on the left shoulder last August, and he played through a lot of pain the last 2 months of last year. Segura, leadoff homer to start us off, his 9th of the year. Trying to get Chris Owings home from second base with 2 outs. This was Segura's 4th leadoff home run this season and the 5th of his career.
You so rarely see Gene Segura back foot an inside pitch and pull it down that left field line. Even pitches off the plate inside, he'll try to hit him to the big part of the field, which is part of the reason for his success this season.
Another play on at second, and CO is back just in time. Yeah, most leadoff homers in the National League this year. Curtis Granderson of the Mets has 6. The Rockies' Charlie Blackmon has 5. Segura, Dexter Fowler, Zach Cozart with 4 apiece. Two balls and no strikes. Three 3-0 with Brandon Drury on deck.
Brandon Drury has had his bat and his helmet since Jake Lamb's at bat. Once Tomas reached to start the inning, I think Brandon Drury said, all right, we're going to roll around to the 2 spot in the lineup. I better start getting ready. He's like the little kid, you know, in Little League. If you're going to play a game that day, you wake up in the morning and just put your uniform on. Yeah. No sense getting dressed. I'm going to go play ball in a little while.
Put on the wristbands, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Walk around in your cleats all day. Full count on Gene Segura, 3-2. Chris Owings at second and 2 outs. Another run in. Segura belts one to the left field corner, and this will get CO home. Gene Segura, a home run and a double, and it's 3-0 D-backs.
I don't think we've seen Gene Segura pull the ball in
27,
the same
Brandon
game
Drury.
twice all year long, but 2 ringing hits to left field, the leadoff homer, and now a 2-out double to drive home Chris Owings. And once again, tip of the cap to Jake Lamb for moving Tomas up. That kind of got the whole inning rolling. Everybody doing the right thing, whatever the team needs offensively.
Well, Segura able to get Owings home from second with 2 outs. We'll see if Drury now can pick up Segura. Brandon fouled out to first his first time up. Keep in mind, Scott Kazmir, as Bob mentioned a moment ago, is a guy who has not lost a game since May the 9th. 7-0 in his last 13 starts.
Kazmir has that big leg kick. Occasionally he will do that inside move to freeze a runner at second base, but if you guess right and he's delivering to home plate with that high leg kick, you can get a big jump.
Ties up Brandon inside. Bill Miller says strike one. Segura takes off for third, and Drury fouls it away. Yeah, that one's stolen.
I'm sure that's a pitch that Dave Magadan and Mark Grace will want to talk to Brandon Drury about after the ball game, if not before. You have to have enough confidence as a hitter that even if you take that pitch and it's a strike, you're going to have a teammate on at third base now instead of second base. Is right in front of Brandon Drury. You can see the guy with the big jump, Gene Segura, with the big jump out there at second base. Sometimes you just take the pitch, allow the guy to move up 90 feet, and then take your chances in the 0-2 count.
Can you tell when you're trying to zero in on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball how good a jump the guy gets?
Yeah, I think you can. Maybe not so for Brandon, but yeah, you're standing there looking out to the mound with your soft eyes. You're not really focused on anything quite yet. You can easily see Gene Segura and what kind of break he gets. Now, maybe in Brandon's mind, he felt Gene didn't get that good of a jump, but it certainly looked like he was going to steal that base easily.
Diamondbacks already with 3 doubles and a home run against Scott Kazmir. It's 1-2 on Drury.
I mean, obviously the game has changed a lot, but back in the day, the number 2 hitter, one of the biggest attributes he could have was he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. You get a leadoff man on at first base, a guy that's capable of stealing, and that number 2 hitter would just take pitches, take pitches, take pitches.
Brandon slaps it the other way. Tolles with good speed runs it down, and that'll end the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 3 doubles in the second. RBIs for Owings and Segura. They lead it 3-0.
In a second, Braden Shipley's second career start. Jody Jackson with you. He told me he was battling in that first start. And the reason why, guys, another reason besides the fastball command having to rely on the curveball, but the changeup, he was throwing it too hard. It was more 87, 88 miles an hour. It needs to be more down 83, 84 to get that difference between the fastball and the changeup. And he said that was just adrenaline. That was just because I was out there for the first time. He said he's feeling much more comfortable. And guys, that changeup registering more around the 84 mile per hour mark tonight.
Yeah, Jody, that's one thing Chip Hale mentioned after the ball game as well Monday. Just take a little bit more off that changeup. The curveball, when he was locating and keeping it down, was very effective, but Chips thought the changeup probably a little too hard, and that's what got him in trouble against the Brewers. Yasmani Grandal leads off the second for the Dodgers. Grandal hitting .210 with 14 homers, 1 for 4 last night, had a single and an RBI. Also struck out twice. Pulls that one foul. Right into the shift. Brandon Drury from way out there in the outfield throws him out. That's 3 ground ball outs for Braden Shipley.
Right fielder, number 60, Andrew
Tolles now the right fielder tonight. .324 in 14 games this year. His first appearance in the big leagues. Made his major league debut earlier this month after a call up for the minors, and he's done very well. Had a pair of hits and a walk last night. Doubled, had an RBI, scored twice. We saw Yasiel Puig briefly last night. He hadn't played in a week because of a lingering left hamstring problem. So Tolles out there again tonight to start in right field. There goes the bat back to the screen.
He lost one hand on the bat on his first swing. He lost both of them on that.
Dave Roberts said before the game today he does expect Puig to be in the lineup tomorrow against Patrick Corbin. There it goes.
He heads up over in that first base dugout if he swings again.
The hamstring has been an issue for Puig. I don't believe it's a DL situation, but Dave Roberts said he doesn't want to put Puig in harm's way by playing him again tonight. Braden Shipley puts away Tolles, his first strikeout.
Yeah, just the fact that they used Puig in the ball game last night tells you they don't think it's serious enough for a DL stint. Otherwise, you try to keep him out of play so you can backdate a DL stint to the last time he was in a ball game.
We'll mention that Shipley likes to try and put guys away with that curveball, and he gets Tolles that time. Brings up Jock Peterson. A big night here last night. Tied a career high with 4 RBIs, a 2-run double and a 2-run home run. The homer was Peterson's first since June the 20th. He was on the DL for a while with a shoulder problem. 238 and 14 home runs. Spikes another one, and it's 2-0. Diamondbacks will put the shift on for Jock Peterson. Jake Lamb in the second base spot. Brandon Drury out there in short right field. In there for a strike, 2-1. Full count, 3-2.
Well, it's a nice 3-1 pitch. Sinking fastball, started in the middle of the strike zone and tailed its way toward that outside corner.
Kazmir, the pitcher, on deck.
Peterson calls timeout. Wasn't that earlier this year? We talked about that with Rick
Monday. Yeah.
Full count pitches. He likes to call timeout and kind of throw the pitcher off his rhythm. Not this time.
Jake Lamb spins and throws. Nice play by Jake in that shift. Another ground ball out for Shipley. He's got a 3-0 lead in LA. Diamondbacks with a 3-0 lead. Time now for greater coverage of baseball. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Dodgers only one game back of the Giants for the NL West lead. And San Francisco has the win, so make it a game and a half. They beat the Nationals at AT&T Park today. The Rockies lead the Mets. Colorado's played very well in the second half of the year. 5-2 in the sixth inning at Citi Field. And the Padres hosting the Reds at Petco Park. Cincinnati has a 1-0 lead. Goldie will lead off the third against Scott Kazmir. By the way, the trade of Matt Kemp just went official. Trade deadline is Monday, 1 o'clock Arizona time. Kemp goes from the Padres to the Atlanta Braves for Hector Olivera, who they will most likely then designate for assignments. It was strictly a salary dump. Right field corner, Tolles on the warning track. One slicing away from him, but he runs it down for the first out in the third. So the Padres apparently saved about half the money they owed Matt Kemp on that deal.
Ricky Weeks Jr.
Kemp is now in Atlanta. Mark Melanson, the Pirates closer, traded to the Nationals. Here's Ricky Weeks Jr., who singled in his first at bat. Another guy who's been the talk of a lot of trade talk is Wade Davis, the Royals' outstanding closer. A lot of teams calling about Wade Davis apparently, but he's had to go back to Kansas City for an MRI. That couldn't have come at a worse time for Wade Davis or the Royals.
It was going to come out in the physical anyway. If you have any kind of an ailment or an injury, especially a big trade, you're going to have to pass the physical for the team you're headed to, and I'm sure they would have found it.
Right back to the mound. 2 outs.
Number 7.
Oh, that Olivera
Wellington Castillo.
Owed a ton of money still.
He is owed nearly $29 million, but that contract could be voided if he winds up in prison. He's had a lot of problems. He was originally signed out of Cuba by the Dodgers, who gave him a bunch of money. That quickly did not work out. They sent him to Atlanta. And now he's in San Diego, at least on paper.
So can you get the prison to pick up the salary? The San Quentin Raiders or whatever the baseball team is there?
I think they're off the hook for the contract. That's probably one reason why they may have acquired it. Doesn't look good for Oliveira. 1-0 on Castillo. There's a lot of trade discussion with Dave Stewart in the Diamondback dugout with reporters before the ball game today. And Dave Stewart was saying the Diamondbacks have been close to making a deal recently, just over the last few days. Stu said, I thought it was close, and then the tide sort of changed. He didn't say which player was involved, but he did say they've had a ton of interest in Shelby Miller. And the whole Diamondback contingent is here with a trade deadline coming up on Monday. 2-2 now. And Stu also said he does not see the Diamondbacks looking ahead to next year pursuing a free agent closer in the offseason. They like their internal options in the bullpen. Broken bat. He hits it into the shift for Seager. And Scott Kazmir works a 1-2-3 third. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 3-0. High-speed highlights presented by Cox. So far, 6 outs recorded by Braden Shipley in his second major league start. 4 of them, Bob, ground ball outs.
Always a good sign for a sinker ball pitcher when the opposing offense is banging that ball into the dirt in front of home plate. Defense making plays behind you. Good start to the ball game for Braden Shipley tonight.
He's got a 3-0 lead, and the pitcher Scott Kazmir will lead it off in the LA third. Something Braden mentioned before the ball game tonight. Get that sinker going early in counts. Try to get some quick ground ball outs. And then from there, go to the changeup and the curveball. Changeup in there for a strike, and it's 0-1.
For 34 with 20 strikeouts this season for Kazmir. 30 punch-outs and 60 at-bats for his career.
Braden so far has walked 1, struck out 1, and make it 2.
I have to laugh. You rarely see a right-handed pitcher knee lock a left-handed hitter with a curveball, but exactly what happened right there.
Loves that curveball in 2 strike counts. Utley led off the ball game with a ground ball out.
Watch the reaction of Scott Kazmir on this curveball. It's not uncommon for a right-handed hitter to do that against an opposing right-handed pitcher's curveball, but usually you don't see left-handed hitters do it.
Kept it just inside the strike zone into the left-hand hitter. There's strike 1 to Utley. Well, you were mentioning last night about how Utley kind of almost suckered Zach Curtis when they met in that 7th inning. First pitch slider was coming.
Yeah, this is not his first rodeo. 13th year in the major leagues. He's faced a lot of left-handed relievers, and especially young left-handed relievers coming into a ball game. They figure, well, I'm in here to face this lefty, so I have to throw him a breaking ball. And Chase Utley just laid on it like a mattress.
First pitch. It has not been a very productive summer at the plate for Chase Utley. He started off pretty well. As late as May 28th, he was hitting nearly 300, in fact, but over June and now July, he's hit less than 230. Two and two. 37 years old, Chase Utley. He'll be 38 at the end of this year. Forty pitches for Braden Shipley, 24 strikes. Jake Lamb, the shift was on. A one hopper hit hard right to him, but he throws out Utley. Another nice play by Jake in that shift position. And another ground ball left for Braden Shipley.
Kind of game defenders like on the infield. Nice rhythm to the ball game. You've got a pitcher throwing good quality low strikes. You know you're going to get some work out there defensively, and everybody on their toes ready to make plays tonight.
Corey Seager, a fly ball out his first time up. First pitch swing and a little dribbler up the first base line, and it rolls foul. Braden Shipley said he felt pretty good out there in Milwaukee Monday. The nerves, the anxiety that you might imagine a youngster would have at his major league debut really weren't not an issue for him, he said. He's a very laid-back kid anyway. Just wasn't as nervous as he thought he might be when he stepped out on that mound in the first inning at Miller Park. And he said throughout that day Monday leading up to the game, he was kind of waiting for those jitters to kick in, but the routine of the pregame warm-up really helped him feel comfortable out there. And he's looked very comfortable tonight. Retired 6 in a row, but he's behind on Corey Seager, 2 balls and a strike.
Seager almost screws himself into the ground chasing that straight changeup.
Fastball missed, and it's 3-2. You see the velocity there. Braden Shipley will generally work low 90s, but he's got mid 90s in his back pocket when he needs it. He's learned to throttle back a bit. Seager drives this deep to center. Chris Owings, and it's over his head and off the wall. It's another double for Corey Seager. That's his 30th this year.
Just over the glove of Chris Owings, going back straight back to the barrier in center field. Corey Seager put a charge on that one.
Corey Seager had 2 doubles last night. Another one tonight. He's got 8 doubles in his last 12 games. He is second in the National League in 2-baggers behind the Nationals' Daniel Murphy. And he's at second with 2 outs for Justin Turner, who doubled in his first at bat tonight. Well, Shipley in the first inning got the first 2 outs. Turner doubled. They walked Gonzalez. He had 2 on 2 outs, got out of it with a ground ball by Howie Kendrick. And now we'll see if Braden can strand the 2-out base runner at second right here. 0-2 on Justin Turner. This guy's been red hot ever since June the 10th. That's when his season really started on the uptick. He's hit .325 since June the 10th, and he has led the National League in home runs and RBI since that date. Kind of buckled him a little bit there, but missed, and it's 1-2. 50 pitches, 30 strikes for Braden Shipley in his second major league start. He did not go. Rod Tishner down there. The count is full 3-2. Gonzalez would be next. Ball right field for Yasmani Tomas. And once again, Braden Shipley wiggles off the hook. We are through 3 in LA. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
so many teams struggling to find starting pitching to get deep in the ballgame. On this date in 2014, Felix Hernandez became the first pitcher in Major League history to make 14 consecutive starts going at least 7 innings, giving up 2 runs or fewer. That's a pretty good stretch right there. He broke the record that was previously held by Tom Seaver.
That's how you get the nickname King. El Tanque, Yasmani Tomas leads off the Diamondback 4th against Scott Kazmir. D-backs lead at 3-0. Tomas doubled and scored in his first at bat and swings at the first pitch. Breaking news, it's 0-1. Film at 11. Belts this one to left. Howie Kendrick will have it drop in front, and Yasmani Tomas is 2 for 2. The road trip continues for El Tanque. Yasmani Tomas driving the bus.
Number 22, Jake Lamb.
Sounded like possibly a broken bat. Once again, a pitch off the plate inside, and somehow he just muscles it out there to left field. Big turn at first. The bus almost went off the road.
What was that little move there? Jake Lamb now. You like the idea of Jake Lamb in there against the lefty tonight?
I do. I think Jake Lamb, we're going to have to find out one way or another the rest of this season whether he's an everyday player or not. Is he a guy that you can count on putting together good at bats against tough left-handed pitching, or are you going to possibly have to platoon him at third base? I mean, there's not a lot good about what's happened so far in this year's Diamondback season, but you got a couple months here at the end to really find out some things about some of your young players, and I think one of the things they need to find out is, can Jake Lamb be an everyday player?
Well, we know he can hit. He's leading the Diamondbacks with 21 homers, and he's second on the team in RBIs. Just 3 behind Goldie. Tomas takes off, and Lamb pulls that one foul. Looked like Yasmani got a pretty decent jump that time.
We talked about the big leg kick from Kazmir at second base. Same thing applies over there at first base. He got a nice jump. Yeah, this one you can't really put on Jake Lamb because as a left-handed hitter, you probably don't see the jump that the runner's getting at first base. Might have been a hit and run for all we know.
2-2. The breeze that was blowing out to center field has pretty much stopped. It's dead out there right now. The flags in center are still.
Jake Lamb normally faces an exaggerated pull shift, but against the left-hander Scott Kazmir, this is about as close to straight up. Seager a little bit up the middle of the field, Turner a little bit off the line at third, but otherwise fairly straight away defensively because of the left-handed pitcher on the mound.
Hits this one up in the air, but he yanks it foul. Still 2-2. Get 2 strikes, you got to look for that changeup. Used to have that big wipeout slider back when he was a Tampa Bay Devil Ray. Jake Lamb belts it into center. That's 7 hits now for the Diamondbacks.
Tried to come inside with another fastball down and in, and Jake put a nice quick swing on it. Line drive into center field.
16, Chris Owings.
Keep the line moving. Good start to the inning.
Two on, nobody out for Chris Owings. CO had an RBI double, scored a run in that second inning against Kazmir. Diamondbacks doubled 3 times in the second. The first time they've had 3 doubles in 1 inning since August of last year against the Phillies. In there for a strike, 0-1.
Sometimes it can be a little disheartening to get the first 2 guys on and realize that we've got the number 8 hitter and the pitcher coming up, but CO is perfectly capable of driving that ball, and we know Braden Shipley can swing the bat a little bit, so possibility of something happening here in this inning.
Does the fact he's got the pitcher behind him change the way CO approaches this at bat?
Well, once again, I think because it's Braden Shipley, you approach it like you have a hitter behind you in the lineup.
So all bets are off.
Yeah, I think, you know, some of our other pitchers, not so much. You might have to expand your zone a little bit to try to make something happen here before you get to the 9 spot. But because Shipley, in a very, very short period of time, has proven he can swing the bat a little bit, I think CO should grind out this at bat just as if there was a hitter behind him.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have a lot of faith in Braden Shipley's athleticism. Remember, he started his college baseball career as a shortstop. And when he made his major league debut Monday in Milwaukee, Chip Hale had Shipley batting in the 8th spot.
His first at bat, we talked about it earlier, banged that double off the wall in left center. And I mean, it wasn't an accident. It was a nice swing.
Just missed a home run. 60 pitches for Scott Kazmir, 45 strikes. The 0-2 to CO. Want to know who the MVP of this ball game is?
Tell me.
It's our man JR.
Yeah.
Out of his own pocket, he bought this fan that's in the booth.
Thank goodness.
And without this fan,
oh,
we would be hurting right now. It is a hot night in LA. Tomas takes off again. Grandal throws to third, and he's out of there. CO moves up. Or pardon me, Jake Lamb moves up 90 feet. He's at second, but Tomas is out at third.
Flat-footed start out there at second base. There's a real big difference between trying to steal second and trying to steal third. Trying to steal second, you have to have a certain amount of foot speed. You've got to have some quick acceleration and be able to run hard. At second base, you just need a good secondary lead with some momentum going toward third. And this throw is in the dirt, but on a short hop to Justin Turner, goes right to the bag and clearly out at third base.
So the Diamondbacks make the first out of the 4th inning at third base. 1 away. Jake Lamb at second, and a 1-2 count on Chris Owings.
With Joe Morgan, he used to say you have to have some speed to steal second, you have to have some smarts to steal third.
He had lots of both.
Yes, he did.
CO got all tied up that time. Kazmir gets the strikeout. That's his 3rd tonight, and there are 2 outs.
Just talking about what a promising inning this was shaping up to be, and all of a sudden you've got 2 outs and a runner at second base.
In a sense, you have a quick strike him out, throw him out there.
Well, basically, cutter inside that time, started off the plate and worked its way farther inside. CO just couldn't hold up.
Braden Shipley struck out his first time up tonight.
That's a new one for me, partner.
What's that?
I just had a thing on the big board here at Dodger Stadium. The official bubbles of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, they had that thing, I think it was last year, where they would blow bubbles in the dugout all the time.
Well, they were asked to stop that by Major League Baseball, but apparently an endorsement deal is in place, and now we have the official bubbles of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It's an ode to Lawrence Welk. Did you watch Lawrence Welk in Coshocton?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Havananda too.
Big Saturday night or Sunday night, I forget. Up there with his accordion.
Good family entertainment. Was it Bobby and Chrissy, the two dancers that would come out and do a different routine every week?
Yeah. Good pull.
Did I watch Lawrence?
Nice pull right there. Shipley able to hold up that time. 2-2 now. Yeah, they were those professional dancers, like kind of do those contests.
Yeah, we watched a lot of Lawrence Welk and a lot of polka varieties out of Cleveland, Ohio, Sunday mornings. Oompa.
Kazmir gets the strikeout, so a caught stealing and 2 strikeouts in the Diamondback threat, but they lead the Dodgers 3-0.
D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Yeah, Luke Walton, the new Lakers coach. He threw out the first pitch before the ball game tonight. He was interviewed by some of the Dodgers on-field, what do they call them, hosts?
Yeah.
And, well, they are super stoked.
It's awesome.
To use their terminology for the Lakers season.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be kind of like amazing.
Yeah.
Adrian Gonzalez will lead off the 4th against rookie BRADEN Shipley, who's pitched a nice ball game so far. He's given up only 2 hits. He has walked 1, struck out 2. Gonzalez got the base on balls back in the 1st. Stays away, and it's ball 1. Adrian Gonzalez has not hit very well at Dodger Stadium this year. He's batting only .236 at home, better than .320 on the road. He's only homered in his home park 3 times this year. The power stroke has just not been there. Mentioned that earlier. The slugging percentage is barely over 400. And that would be the lowest mark of his career. He's homered at least 20 times in 9 of the last 10 years, including 28 last season. That was his highest total since 2010, but he's falling shy of that 20 homer pace this season. Flares that one the other way, and it dunks in. Those are the types of hits Gonzalez has been getting more and more often this year.
Number 47, Howie Kendrick.
Howie Kendrick now. Kendrick grounded out his first time up. So far, 5 ground ball outs in the ball game for BRADEN SHIPLEY. Kendrick hitless last night. He did walk and score a run. Came out of the game in the 7th inning after a double switch by Dave Roberts. First time tonight the Dodgers have had the leadoff man on base against Shipley. And he's behind Kendrick 2-0. So this inning not off to a good start for the rookie.
For Adrian Gonzalez, 34 years old now, you start to wonder, is this a turning point in his career? Has he lost his power, or are teams just pitching him differently? Is it a physical issue? No question, he's still one of the best hitters in the National League, but as you said, just not seeing the same kind of thump in that bat that we've seen in years past.
That's why the Dodgers have been linked in possible trade talks with the Cincinnati Reds about acquiring Jay Bruce before the deadline on Monday. Fastball's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. Well, not that it matters to the Dodgers, but Gonzalez has still got 3 years left on his contract. He's making $21 million a year this year, and he's owed $21.5 for 2017 and 18. Just turned 34 years old in May. BRADEN again not being terribly efficient. 60 pitches, 34 strikes, and now behind on Kendrick 3-1. Tapper foul, and it's 3-2. Howie Kendrick, a .355 career hitter against the Diamondbacks.
The amazing thing is, it seems like it should be higher than that.
Right, feels like .555. Grandal on deck. Here we go.
Yep. Start with that inside out swing. Howie Kendrick gets to a 2-strike count. He can wear you out.
You got an over-under on foul balls coming up here, 3 or 4 more.
I'm hoping he'll roll over this next sinker and hit a ground ball to the left side. Turn 2.
There's another one. It's like being stuck in a time warp. Every time you turn on the game, Howie Kendrick is up there fouling off 2 strike pitches until he knocks one into right center. Pulls that one to shortstop. Two more ground ball outs for BRADEN SHIPLEY. Boy, did he need that.
Number 9, yes.
Most double plays start with a hard hit ball. This one hit hard right at Gene Segura. Nice turn down there by Brandon Drury. We haven't had a chance to see a lot of Brandon at second base this year. He's getting tested in a lot of different ways here tonight.
The catcher, Yasmani Grandal, grounded out in his first at bat. Little squib shot's going to stay fair. The shift was on, and nobody's going to be able to get there. Couldn't have rolled it to a better spot.
Full swing, cued right off the end of the bat. That ball had a lot of spin on it. Segura and Shipley both thought they had a play, and then at the last second they both backed off the ball. I doubt if they would have had a chance to get Grandal at first anyway.
Number 60, Andrew Toles.
Andrew Toles, the hitter now. He was Shipley's first strikeout victim tonight. Another ground ball. Brandon Drury is there. 3 ground ball outs in the inning for Braden Shipley, who has worked scoreless baseball through 4 innings at Dodger Stadium.
Eleven of 12 games tonight, a home run to lead the game off and a double. Made some great defensive plays last night, including diving for a ball. He told me earlier today he actually has a bit of a sore rib from that. Landed hard on the ground, but guys, you can't tell, and he's been all over the field once again defensively tonight, so he will lead off this 5th inning.
Yeah, really laid out on that ground ball last night, Jody, and was down for just a bit. Ryan DePanfilo, the trainer, had to go out there and have a look. Gene got the start last night at second base, and they're at shortstop tonight, and he'll lead off the 5th against Scott Kazmir. So far, a home run, a double, 2 RBIs. His 4th leadoff homer this year, the 5th of his career.
Yeah, different approach from Gene Segura tonight. I mentioned it after that double. Both the home run and the double pulled hard to left field, something we're not used to seeing from Gene Segura.
He's got such a great right center field approach. Kazmir at 70 pitches, 51 strikes. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Dodgers 7-4. They lead it 3-0. Segura's leadoff homer made it 1-0. RBI doubles in the second by Chris Owings and Gene Segura. 2-2. Scott Kazmir split last year between Oakland and Houston. Won 7 games, lost 11. Still a very effective ERA, 3.10 in 31 starts, the lowest ERA of his career. And it was the 4th best in the American League last year. So the Dodgers, they were convinced, they were all in, gave him a 3-year, $48 million free agent contract. This is a guy who had some real career struggles. Started out as a hotshot prospect with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. First round pick, made his big league debut at the age of 20 back in 2004. Twice an All-Star in Tampa Bay. SEGURA putting up a fight here. He pitched parts of 3 frustrating seasons with the Angels, Scott Kazmir. The velocity really declined. Had a shoulder problem. He was released midway through the 2011 season, wound up pitching an independent ball. Did not appear in the majors in 2012. He was a Sugarland Skeeter in the Independent Atlantic League. Now he's a $50 million Dodger lefty. SEGURA lifts this in the air to center. Jock Peterson has it. And that's the first out in the 5th. So Kazmir's been something of a reclamation project. And he was able to cash in LA.
Second baseman Brandon Drury.
Left-handed pitchers that throw strikes tend to find their way onto major league rosters.
He was a first-round pick out of high school, Scott Kazmir, by the Mets in 2002, the 15th overall selection. Dealt to Tampa for Victor Zimbrano. It's a blast from the past for you. Drury so far 0 for 2.
The wrong Zambrano.
Exactly. They got the wrong one, as so often happens. Ground ball to shortstop for Corey Seager. 2 outs.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Goldie has struck out, flied out 0 for 2. He's got a 6-game hitting streak going. Always dangerous in this ballpark. Paul Goldschmidt, .352 career in 40 games at Dodger Stadium. 36 RBIs in 40 games here.
Those really are exceptional numbers given some of the pitching staffs that the Dodgers have had here over the course of Paul's career. Yeah, the fact that historically this has just never really been a good hitter's park.
They've had some pretty good pitchers in this ballpark over the last however many years since they moved in '57, played at the Coliseum for a while, and moved into Chavez Ravine. A lot of them are walking around now. Don Newcomb was on the field before the ball game today. MVP of the Brooklyn Dodgers in the National League before they moved out here. Oral Hershiser, Fernando Valenzuela. Goldie blasts that one right to Seager. And Kazmir has now retired 5 in a row. Bottom 5 on the way. Diamondbacks have a 3-0 lead in LA. in this ballpark. So did Zach Greinke. He's a Diamondback now. Zach Greinke Bobblehead Day, fans, is coming up Saturday, August 6th. First 20,000 fans. The Diamondbacks game against the Brewers. That's a 5:10 start. Get the Zach Greinke Bobblehead courtesy of Safeline Auto Glass. Visit dbacks.com. Brandon Drury having a big night defensively at second base as Braden Shipley's had that ground ball rolling. Shipley has 8 ground ball outs. And Drury 5 assists with 1 putout. The shift is on as Jock Peterson leads off the LA 5th inning. Brandon getting the start at second base tonight, and he has looked good. Shipley keeping those infielders behind him on their toes.
We talked about this before. When you show up at the ballpark, you see your name in the lineup and you see who the starting pitcher is, and if you're an infielder and Braden Shipley's pitching, you're going to anticipate you're going to be busy. If he's on top of his game, he's going to throw a lot of ground balls. If it happens, you know, to be Tyler Clippard later in the ball game, now the emphasis shifts to the outfielders. He's more of a fly ball pitcher, so you know you're probably going to get your share of work out there in the outfield. The problem is when there's a sinker ball pitcher on the mound and the outfielders are busy. That's not good.
It's a good sign that things are not working. Here it is, 8 ground ball outs for Shipley so far. He's walked 1, struck out 2, and there is our man Drury right on the spot. 6 assists for Brandon Drury at second base tonight, 1 away. Now 9 ground ball outs for Shipley.
Now this one comes about 200 feet away. He's playing way out there in shallow right field. That ball hit right to him.
Last 4 outs for Shipley have come on the ground. Here's the pitcher, Scott Kazmir. Braden Shipley went to Nevada to play college baseball as a shortstop. Didn't start pitching until he was a sophomore, and he picked it up pretty quickly. 15th overall pick in the draft a few years after that. Great athleticism out there on the mound. First 2 seasons in the minors at Hillsborough, then A-ball at Visalia. He was a strikeout pitcher, throwing mid-90s all the time, but he has really evolved and realized he doesn't need to throw 95, 96 all the time. He's very comfortable working lower 90s with that sinker, changeup, and curveball, but that 95 is there when he needs it, which is always comforting for him, I'm sure. One and 2 on Scott Kazmir. And he got him. Let's go downstairs to Jody.
Well, guys, Brandon Drury, you mentioned making a lot of plays in the field for Brandon Shipley, or for Braden Shipley, I should say. The Oregon connection, as Brandon Drury is from Grants Pass and Shipley from Medford. I asked Brandon, did you remember any at-bats in particular against Shipley? He said, no, I know that I never took him deep, though. And he said he predicted the hit, though, that he had in Milwaukee. He told the guys on the team, watch out. He can really hit the ball, play defense. He's a great athlete.
Braden and Brandon.
Yeah, tougher than I thought.
Yeah. Utley is twice grounded out tonight. A lot of that evolution for Braden Shipley has come in the last year and a half. He began last season at AA Mobile, had really the first career crisis as a pro. The ERA at the All-Star break was 4.5. The command was gone. And that's where he really made some adjustments, worked on mechanical changes. Robbie Hammock was telling us he dominated the Southern League after the All-Star break last year. He was really, really good after he tweaked a couple of things. Over the second half of last season, 85 innings following the All-Star break, he had a 2.66 ERA. And he continued that success at the AAA level this year. So he really has had to get in there and look at video, work with the coaches, and work on some things. It hasn't just been a clear path right to the big leagues.
Well, I think most pitchers at the major league level will tell you that they went through something similar in the minor leagues. That's part of the value of minor league baseball, a lot of these guys have never bumped up against adversity. They've never had guys hit their stuff.
He really had to get after it halfway through the season last year in Double-A. But then after the All-Star break with the Bay Bears, 68 strikeouts and only 19 walks. And he is showing Chip Hale and the coaches something tonight. Chip told us before the game today that Zack Greinke's next start will not be with the Diamondbacks. He threw 60 pitches last night before the monsoon hit Sloan Park in Mesa. And so because it was a relatively short outing, only 3 innings, they want Greinke to go one more time in a minor league type game before he comes up here. So there'll be at least one more start and one more rotation spot open the next time through. But as Chip said in Milwaukee, just because Greinke comes back doesn't necessarily mean that Braden Shipley would be the guy who goes down. Utley working hard. The count is full, 3-2. Yanks that one fair down the right field line. It caroms off the wall for Tomas, and Chase Utley has a 2-out double, his 17th of the year.
Chase Utley may have lost a step or two on the bases, same thing defensively, but that bat is as quick as it ever was. Pitch on the inside part of the plate up, and he just rips it by Goldie down into that right field corner for a 2-out double.
Fifth hit for the Dodgers against Shipley. Corey Seager doubled his last time up. He's already got 30 doubles this year. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Corey Seager, 30 doubles, ties the Los Angeles Dodgers rookie record set by Eric Karros and his hair back in 1992. Karros' hair won Rookie of the Year that year.
Rightfully so.
It's still an MVP quality hairdo. That was the first of 5 straight Rookies of the Year for the Dodgers. Eric Karros back in '92. 0-1 on Seager. Braden has done a very good job when he's gotten in these jams of stranding base runners and keeping that goose egg up there on the scoreboard. Fly ball center field. Chris Owings is out there. And once again, Braden Shipley keeps the Dodgers scoreless. A 5-hit shutout through 5. He leads it 3-0. LA 3-0. And D-backs fans, if you can't catch the games on your TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device. Just use the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and D-backs baseball with you wherever you go. Rickie Weeks Jr. will lead off the 6th inning against veteran left-hander Scott Kazmir, who's retired the last 5 he's faced. D-backs fans with us tonight here in LA on a hot night. Rickie getting the start in left field tonight. He has singled and grounded out, 1 for 2. Well, he's had a really good road trip, Rickie Weeks Jr. Played counting tonight in 7 games. He's made 4 starts on the trip. And he's got 5 hits, 3 RBIs. He's drawn 3 bases on balls. Had a bases loaded walk as a pinch hitter last night.
And consistently day in and day out takes the most impressive batting practice of any Diamondbacks hitter.
He can hit him as far as anybody.
And line drive after line drive, that ball just jumps off his bat.
Down 0-2. Yeah, Rickie has made 21 starts this year, and in those starts he's hit .297 with 5 homers, so he's been effective when he's in there.
He was especially impressive in batting practice in Milwaukee. A little extra adrenaline, a little extra motivation there to put on a show in batting practice. He was bombing them up there by Bernie Brewer's shack.
It's a chalet.
Chalet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like calling a broad a hot dog. Jody was up there. I remember that a couple of years ago. She slid down that slide. That is way up there too. That is high up. I got that one under the hands of Rickie Weeks Jr. and he strikes out 6 in a row, retired by Kazmir. He's punched out 5.
Yeah, Kazmir getting a little better feel for that cut fastball inside. He threw one under the hands of Chris Owings back in the 4th inning, and now this time gets Rickie Weeks to swing over the top of the same pitch.
Wellington Castillo is twice grounded out to shortstop. Well, he had a 2-hit game last night, singled, doubled, had an RBI and scored a run. He's had an RBI in every game he's played in this road trip. So RBIs in 5 straight games now. Well, Kazmir's really settling in. 6 in a row retired, 3 by strikeout. Coming off a 1-2-3 fifth. And coming inside to right-hand hitters, he does get that front leg way up there. Working on the far third base side of the rubber. Kazmir, since he's been back, has had a very good record of durability. You can write him in ink for 30 starts a year, and they've needed that here in LA. They've needed the innings. Bullpen will start to stir now. Lewis Coleman, who pitched in the ball game last night, will start to throw. Castillo strikes out. That's 6 for Kazmir.
Missed with the changeup on the pitch before to Wellington Castillo, but comes right back with it again. Good location this time. Started in the strike zone, ended out of the strike zone.
Dodgers don't know when Clayton Kershaw will be back. He's been out all month long with that herniated disc. Brett Anderson has not pitched this year. He's recovering from back surgery, making minor league rehab starts right now. Hyunjin Ryu and Alex Wood are both injured. Yasmani Tomas 2 for 2, a double and a single. He has scored a run. Yasmani being patient this time, and it's worked out. He's ahead 2-0. What a contrast for you, Yasmani Tomas. 305 on the road with 14 homers. 223 at Chase Field with 3 home runs. And nearly 3 times as many RBIs. It's a Tapper foul, and it's 2-1.
It's another one of those hitting coach swings right there. Just a palm to the forehead. A 2-0 pitch, and you're way out in front. Dribble it foul over by the third base dugout. 2-0, 3-1, and first pitch should be one pitch in one zone and let it fly.
Still a work in progress at the age of 25. Coming inside again to the righty, and it gets in under his hands. It's been an effective spot for Kazmir. But Tomas swings at nearly 60% of everything he sees. He's got one of the highest swing percentages in all of baseball. And so with him, this sort of patience testing, at least in this point, comes with the territory. Full count, 3-2.
You know, you look ahead a little bit, and you'd like to assume that Yasmani will develop, and he will get smarter, and he will get better in certain situations. I mean, the numbers that he's put up this year, swinging at nearly everything he sees. If he gets a little patience and a little more selectivity at the plate, look out.
Yeah, it's there, that's for sure. And he waves at that one. Kazmir strikes out the side. 1-2-3. He's retired 8 in a row. He's got 7 strikeouts, but the Diamondbacks have a 3-0 lead. Los Angeles, where the Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 3-0. And fans, you can follow D-backs baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. It allows you to stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, the whole thing. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. It has been a terrific performance tonight from rookie BRADEN SHIPLEY in just his second major league start. 5 scoreless innings as Justin Turner leads off the LA 6th.
Third time through the order. That first pitch curveball makes its presence felt. Steal and strike one here against Justin Turner. Got to be careful with that breaking ball to Turner. He's a good breaking ball hitter if you throw it in the strike zone, especially on the inside part of the strike zone.
That one is pulled foul.
Partner, I know you saw this good performance today by former D-back Wade Miley. 6 innings of no-hit ball against the Cubs. Ended up going 7, gave up only 1 hit, struck out 9 Cubs in that Mariners 4-1 victory.
Twitter was blowing up. Wade Miley, no-hitter alert. 2-2. Braden about to throw his 90th pitch of the ball game. Can't make a mistake to Turner. He's got 5 homers and 15 RBIs in 12 games since the All-Star break. 90 pitches for Shipley, 55 for strikes. Way out in front of that one, just does get a piece.
You mentioned Turner, a good breaking ball hitter, batting .310 against breaking balls this season. That's the second best average in the National League. Only Wilson Ramos of the Nationals has hit for a higher average against breaking balls.
Nationals beaten in San Francisco earlier today. The Giants won that one 5-3. They're a game and a half ahead of the Dodgers atop the NL West. Dodgers have really picked up the pace while the Giants have been struggling. LA has gained 5.5 games in the standings since the All-Star break. Bullpen will start to get busy for the Diamondbacks. That's a bouncer foul. And one of the newcomers, Adam Lowe, the left-hander, just called up today for the minor leagues and started to warm up. Enrique Burgos down there as well. 2 new lefties in that Diamondback bullpen after Josh Colmenter was designated for assignment. And Zach Curtis optioned to the minor leagues. Turner gets this one in the air down the left field line, but it's out of play. Adam Lowen, 32-year-old left-hander, a former starter and outfielder. He's had a long road through his baseball life. Called up for the minors along with lefty Steve Hathaway, the rookie, 25-year-old who's done very well in the Diamondbacks minor league system. So you got 2 fresh arms back there, both left-handed. I'd be stunned if somebody didn't pick up Josh Colmenter.
Yeah, especially because of his assortment of stuff. It might fit well in somebody else's bullpen. Josh, as we well know, that violent over-the-top delivery. Fastball tops out in the mid to upper 80s, but that straight changeup out of that over-the-top delivery, still a very devastating pitch.
11th pitch of this at bat to Turner coming up. We're going to keep going. Braden Shipley, even with all these ground ball outs tonight, pitched a tremendous ball game. You don't want to nitpick, but as he goes along here as a big leaguer, you would like to see him get a little more efficient. And the ground balls will certainly help that. Got him. Braden Shipley wins the battle. That's his 4th strikeout. 1 down in the 6th.
That looked like a 4-seamer that time. Decided he was done messing around with Justin Turner. Just rear back and throw it as hard as you can to the middle of the plate. That one fell high right through Turner's swing.
And that's that mid-90s velocity that we've talked about. He's got that when he wants to go there. And it's good to see that at 97 pitches he can still rear back and fire. Gonzalez has walked and singled tonight. Shift is on. There's ball 1.
That pitch just came out of his hand funny that time. I think it was supposed to be a first pitch curveball trying to steal a strike against Gonzalez the same way he did against Turner, but you could see him wiping his hand. Just didn't seem to have a good grip on that first pitch curveball to Gonzalez.
Braden Shipley's spot in the batting order will be 3rd in the top of the 7th inning. And about to throw his 100th pitch of the ball game. Just like to see him get through this 6th if he can. A 21 pitch 3rd, Bob. He had a double in that inning to Corey Seager, but he went to a full count on both Seager and Turner before the inning ended, so he had to work a little harder in that 3rd. Pulled down the line. Goldie's there. Another ground ball out for Shipley. 2 down.
Well, the roles in the bullpen now aren't clearly delineated. You know, Tyler Clippard has struggled somewhat at the end of ball games. Daniel Hudson, we know, is going through a dismal time right now. Jake Barrett, however, seems to be throwing the ball very well. You saw Burgos and Lowen up in the bullpen. We'll see how Chip wants to put it together here. You have to assume this is going to be the last inning for Braden Shipley, but we'll see how it goes.
He has pitched a beauty tonight, just his second major league start. He's got 10 ground ball outs, 100 pitches, 63 for strikes, and with 2 outs he gets ahead of Howie Kendrick 0-1.
All 3 hitters in this inning. First pitch curveball, good one to Turner, bad one to Gonzalez, and now a good one here to Howie Kendrick to jump ahead in the count.
Really dealing with a sharp end of the stick here in what is likely his final inning. Turner, Gonzalez, Kendrick 3, 4, and 5. In there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Sticking with the fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Figures it would be Kendrick the last guy standing in this inning. It's just sort of the way things have gone with Howie Kendrick and the Diamondbacks this year. Kendrick hitting .365 in July. Joey Votto and Martin Prado, the only players in the league with a higher July batting average. He hits it right to shortstop for Segura. That's 11 ground ball outs. Braden Shipley in his second major league start has worked 6 scoreless innings at Dodger Stadium. LA. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink, the series, and at long last, BB, the road trip finale. The Odyssey will end here tomorrow. Patrick Corbin on the mound against Bud Norris. That is a 1:10 first pitch. Diamondback Live pregame show at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. It's been a long road. 3 in Cincinnati, 4 in Milwaukee, and 1 more to go here in LA once this one ends. And boy, has it gone well for Braden Shipley and the Diamondbacks. They lead at 3-0. Scott Kazmir has pitched very well here as he's gone on after early trouble. He's retired 8 in a row. He's got 7 strikeouts, and Jake Lamb leads it off.
Bill Miller behind the plate said that pitch got a piece of Jake Lamb's bat that time on the check swing. Called it a foul tip for strike 1.
100 pitches for Kazmir, 71 strikes. Pedro Baez warming up in the Dodger bullpen. Lamb, Owings in the pitcher spot, 7, 8, 9 in the Arizona 7th. There's a chopper to second for Chase Utley. Jake Lamb 1 for 3, 1 down. Boy, when Braden Shipley says he wasn't nervous in Milwaukee, you believe him, and you watch the way he's pitched tonight, Bob, as Dave Roberts comes out to the mound. You believe that this is a kid with a low heartbeat. You don't see him rattled out there in awe of the 4 decks here at this ballpark.
Very, very poised, both in his first start and especially here tonight at Dodger Stadium.
Baez warming up, the right-hander Owings coming up, and they'll stay with Kazmir. Pedro Baez thought he was in. He got off the bullpen mound, walked all the way to the front, started walking through the outfield gate, which was open for him. And then they said, well, no, never mind.
Go back, go back.
So he went back. And now he's back on the mound. He was almost in the warning track in left field a moment ago. Chris Owings had an RBI double, scored a run in the second inning, struck out his last time up. Shows bunt and takes a strike. Enrique Burgos is the only one warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Shipley's spot is due up next, and Phil Gosselin is in the on-deck circle.
No David Peralta in the starting lineup tonight, so keep in mind Chip has him available off the bench should Dave Roberts go to the right-hander. Also Michael Bourne from the left side of the plate.
And Peralta expected back in the lineup tomorrow afternoon against Bud Norris. No reason to take Kazmir out other than the pitch count. He's retired 9 straight. Rondell wants that fastball elevated, and it missed. It's 1-2. CO drives this one deep to center field. It backs up Peterson, and he runs it down just shy of the wall out there. 2 outs.
Hey fans, you won't want to miss D-backs Teal Tuesdays in August, because each Tuesday game next month will feature $1 hot dogs all game long at Chase Field. For tickets, visit dbacks.com.
Well, we know Dave Roberts is not afraid to go to that bullpen. He used, what, 5 different pitchers in that 7th inning last night, but he's going to stick with Kazmir here to face the right-hand pinch hitter Phil Gosselin, 265 and a homer. So Shipley's night ends right here. What a night it was. His second major league start, 6 scoreless innings. Gave up only 5 hits. He walked 1, struck out 4, and got 11 ground ball outs. What a tremendous job by that young man.
Not intimidated by that 4th deck whatsoever.
And that can't be easy. That's no small thing. See some pitchers come out here sometime for their first or second big league appearance, whether it's a starter or reliever. They just look scared to death.
Can't breathe.
Yeah. Not Braden Shipley. Phil with 7 hits on the road trip, including 3 doubles. Shoots that one fair. It's over the first base bag, and it caroms off the wall out there. Gosselin is going to hustle into second, and he is out of there.
Andrew Toles did a nice job picking that ball up off the carom, and he throws Gosselin out at second for the moment. Let's see if they want to challenge. It didn't roll far enough away from Toles for Gosselin really to get in there safely. A close play. Looks like they got him.
Yeah, it does look like they had him right there, but you know, if you're Phil Gosselin, that's the time to take a chance with 2 outs in the inning. Try to get yourself into scoring position for the top of the order.
Well, they're going to challenge. Chappelle wants the headsets on, so the Diamondbacks will challenge the out call at second base.
I'll tell you, from the one angle we saw, it looked like he was clearly out, and the other one, there was some doubt.
There you go,
yeah.
See? It went right over the first base bag and hit that wall about halfway down out to right field. And Toles really did get a nice handy bounce almost right back to him. Didn't roll very far away from him, and he made a good throw. Right away, Phil points it like every guy seemed to do. Oh no, I was in there. You should challenge this. So they do. There's Bill Miller, the plate ump tonight, the crew chief on the headset with New York.
Yeah, depending on which angle you look at, one he clearly looks out, and another one he clearly looks safe. How about a do-over?
How about that? Good call, Alan Campbell. Another win for AC, the Diamondbacks video coordinator. And he gets the out call overturned at second. Nicely done. It's a hustle double for Gosselin.
And now Dave Roberts is going to make the pitching change. Immediately goes to Bill Miller, which indicates some kind of a double switch.
Did this in the ball game last night when they took Kendrick out in left and put in Scott Van Slyke. Kazmir had retired 10 straight before the Gosselin double, but he'll leave the ball game after 6 2/3. Trailing 3-0. Pedro Baez on his way in. Scott Van Slyke as well. Back after this. The victory, his third of the year, and he's back out there tonight to face Gene Segura. Here in the 7th inning once again, Segura bats with Gosselin at second and 2 outs.
Scott Van Slyke replaces Howie Kendrick in left field. Van Slyke will bat 9th pitcher spot, now 5th in the LA order. Segura led off the ball game with a home run. He has homered and doubled, 2 for 3, and there it is. Once again, he gets one up and in. I've lost track of how many times we've seen this today or this year. Ryan DePanfilo out there.
We've seen a lot of them, but we haven't seen Gene stay down as long as he has on this one. Oh.
He was hit in the head in Pittsburgh earlier this season. Been a hit on the back tricep, the elbow, the shoulder a bunch of times this year. And he is up on one knee and on his feet.
On the back of that left arm.
You know, I'm amazed. Ow. Baez throws really hard too. I'm amazed he doesn't wear some kind of armor like we've seen some guys do, as often as he gets hit and often as they pitch up and into him. 96 miles an hour in the back of the arm from Pedro Baez.
47, Brandon Drury.
But it never shakes Gene. He's second in the National League in hits. He just brushes it off and moves on every time.
Now on Brandon Drury now to make that hurt. Yeah, you certainly wouldn't think it was intentional on the part of Baez, but you never know. They had a base open. Gene Segura's hit the ball hard every at bat tonight.
.98 miles an hour from Baez is in there for a strike. Brandon 0 for 3 tonight. Batting in the 2-hole and playing second base. He's looked very good defensively.
Did not like that first strike call from Bill Miller. Looked like that pitch was away. Shook his head a little bit, walked out of the batter's box, but it's right back in there facing the 0-1 pitch.
Enrique Burgos is ready in the Diamondback bullpen. He'll get the home half of the 7th. Big cut by Brandon that time, and it's 0-2.
Elevated fastball at 97.
Yeah, look where that first pitch was. Come on, man. That's a roller fair down the right field line. Gosselin will score. Segura hustling into third. And he will stop there. The RBI single for Brandon Drury makes it 4-0 D-backs.
Attaboy. After the hit by pitch, after a horrible strike one call, good defensive hitting there. Stayed inside the ball, ends up shooting it just inside the bag down there at first. That will easily score Gosselin. And Gene Segura ends up at third base.
And that'll bring up Goldie. A double, a hit batter, an RBI single, all with 2 outs in the inning. Goldie tonight 0 for 3. Remember, he had that 3-run double in the 7th inning last night. Banged it into the left field corner. On the ground to Turner at third. And they go the short way for the force on Drury, but the Diamondbacks add one more. They take a 4-0 lead as we head to the home half of the 7th. But while we wait, let's check in with Jody Jackson and a special guest.
That's right. I'm here with Braden Shipley's father, Mike, here at Dodger Stadium. 6 innings of scoreless ball for your son in his second career start, and just really working it tonight. Some ground balls, got some strikeouts, 4 strikeouts. What are your emotions as you watched him here tonight?
Oh, it's incredible. I still can't put it all together. It's been an amazing journey, and I'd like to see it continue.
I have you stand up here since it is the 7th inning stretch, and we're getting some people standing up in front of us. You know, I can only imagine what that's like watching him. What impressed you the most? I know you used to coach him as a player, not so much as a pitcher, but what impressed you watching him out there?
Oh, his poise, composure. You know, that's a big league mound, so he's very competitive. So I was nervous. I guarantee you he wasn't.
That's right. He told us in Milwaukee that he really was surprised he wasn't too nervous. It sounds like maybe that didn't surprise you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Believe me, I carried it for both of us.
I could tell. I witnessed those last 3 outs. He went through the heart of the order there, and you were on the edge of your seat.
Oh, I still am.
Now, you know, he did tell me he wouldn't be here without you, the support that you've given him and the way that you did coach him. What's that like as you watch your son go through all those years from Little League, high school, he went to University of Nevada, and now to watch him here? I mean, what is it like knowing the hand you had in it?
Well, obviously I'm extremely proud. I'm more proud of the human being that he is and his character. And so that I'll take credit for. Everything else, God-given.
It was fun watching him, no question. Thanks for sharing this. How many people do you have here with you tonight?
5, 10, 14 down there, so pretty crazy. A lot.
You got family. I know his wife is here. I know a lot of friends, too, came that he went to college with as well.
Yeah, many, and I'm still seeing them pop up, so it's pretty incredible.
All right, Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mike Shipley joining us, guys.
Thank you, Jody. And Mike, your Arizona Federal Credit Union pitching change. The right-hander Enrique Burgos on for Braden Shipley, who worked 6 scoreless tonight. YASMANI Grandal leads off the LA 7th, and there's a swing and a miss. Michael Bourne replaces Ricky Weeks Jr. in left field. And the scoreboard has Bourne still batting in that spot, which is the cleanup spot. Burgos will hit 9th. Burgos last worked Thursday in Milwaukee. He came on in the 6th inning, gave up a 2-run double to the first batter he faced. Diamondbacks lost that game 6-4. '97 from Enrique Burgos. Got that big hard fastball, that wipeout slider. And the command is there for Enrique. He's a handful. Just blows away Grandal for the first out.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Nothing tricky at all about this. Here it is. See if you can hit it. I mean, that ball is right down the middle. Just blew it by Grandal.
Andrew Toles has struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Toles in right field tonight. They expect Yasiel Puig back tomorrow for the series finale against Patrick Corbin, a 1-10 start here in LA. We got a little look at Puig last night. He had missed a week with a left hamstring issue.
Well, the governor's not with us on this trip, so our weatherman is gone. But just looking at the forecast for tomorrow, 88 degrees.
Hot. Yeah, it's been humid here. The moral compass, Mike Farron, working radio play-by-play on this road trip. Gonzo has jetted in to work alongside as the analyst on radio. They're down just to our left here at Dodger Stadium. The governor should be arrested and ready when we get back to Chase Field for that national series coming up next week.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah. Tom Candiotti will be back as well. 3-1 to Andrew Toles. That's always been the bugaboo for Enrique Burgos, the command. He's struggled with that over the course of his minor league career, and it's gotten him in trouble a few times at this level as well. A one-out base runner for Jock Peterson. Just the second walk issued tonight by Diamondback pitching. Shipley walked 1, struck out 4. Peterson 0 for 2, a pair of groundouts. Keep in mind, Toles has very good speed at first. He can really fly. Diamondbacks have the shift on. Jake Lamb, the third baseman, in the second base spot, and there is strike 1.
Well, you don't want Enrique Burgos to concern himself too much with that runner over there at first base. You've got a 4-run lead in the ballgame. The most important thing is to execute your pitch to the guy at the plate. He's the one that can really hurt you right now.
Peterson last night had a 2-run double and a 2-run home run. Toles holding. This is in the air, center field. Chris Owings coming in, calls off Yasmani Tomas. 2 outs. And the hitter will be Scott Van Slyke.
Left fielder number 33, Scott Van Slyke.
Look over in left field for Howie Kendrick after the double switch. 235 and a homer. And Slyke walked and grounded out in the ball game last night. Now they have the shift on the left-hand side of the infield. Drury, the second baseman, on the shortstop side of the bag. Big swing there by Van Slyke, but he can't catch up to that 97-mile-an-hour fastball from big Enrique Burgos. .6'4", 250. 25-year-old right-hander. Still holding in first. Burgos jumps ahead 0-2. He's really bringing the heat tonight. Consistent high 90s fastballs.
Now we mentioned it with a couple of guys struggling in that bullpen and a couple of roster moves. There's some jobs to be won down in that bullpen.
Chip Hale was talking about that before the game today. That one rolls away from Castillo, and Toles gets a free 90 feet.
Wellington kind of chases this ball back to the inside corner. Ends up hitting off the heel of his glove and going all the way to the backstop.
Fastball charged to Wellington Castillo. Toles now at second with 2 outs, a 1-2 count on Van Slyke. Chip Hale told us they are going to find their bullpen by the end of the year. So they're going to keep looking at guys. They've called up Hathaway and Lowen for the ball game today. And they want to find guys, he said, who can help in the future. They'd like to see that 2017 bullpen emerge over the final 2 months of this year. And there is one of the lefties brought up today, the veteran Adam Lowen. Now they will throw him in. I'm sorry, Bob. They will throw him in a high leverage situation, Chip said today. He's been around. Hathaway, they would wait. But if they get in a jam and they need a left-hand arm, it will be Lowen.
Back-to-back lefties up after Scott Van Slyke. Shouldn't get that far.
The 2-2 pitch. He drives it into center, a base hit. This will score the speedy tolls, and the Dodgers are on the board. It's 4-1.
Fastball at 97, however, down in the zone. That's Van Slyke's happy zone down there around the knees. Comes around after that pass ball, moved him into scoring position. Van Slyke drives him in with a rocket single into center field.
Here comes Chip Hale. As Bob mentioned, you've got two lefties coming up at Utley and Seager. And we'll get our first look at veteran left-hander Adam Lowen when we come back. Adam Lowen called up from AAA Reno today. He was once the 4th overall pick in the draft back in 2002. And you see the numbers with Reno this year. A 3-2 record, a 2.62 ERA, 41 strikeouts in just under 38 innings. And right away, as Chip Hale said they would, they put him in a high-stress situation trying to get that final out and get out of the 7th.
Big league time for Lowen with the Orioles in 06, 07, 08. Not a lot of appearances, 22 in the 06 season, then not again until Philadelphia last season. Appeared in 20 games for the Phillies.
Chase Utley doubled his last time up. He is 1 for 3. 2 outs, Van Slyke at first, and 1 run in. Shift is on against Utley, and Lowen overthrows that one a bit. It's 1-0. This was Utley against Zach Curtis. First pitch he saw, a hanging slider. He knocked it into the bullpen. Zach Curtis option to the minor leagues today to make room for Lowen, and Steve Hathaway, the other lefty who's back there. Randall Delgado has started throwing for the Diamondbacks in their bullpen. Lowen is a fascinating story. He's a big guy, 6'6". He's gone from a major league starting pitcher to a major league outfielder, then back to a major league pitcher, this time as a reliever. It's been quite a story. Signed with the Diamondbacks last fall, a minor league deal. And Slyke takes off. The throw from Castillo is a good one, and they got him. Jake Lamb applies the tag. The shift was on, and Castillo throws him out. Scott Van Slyke takes off, and the Dodgers run into the final out on the bases. It's 4-1. One lead in LA as we start the 8th inning. And the headliner tonight, the rookie BRADEN SHIPLEY, who was terrific in just his second major league start. 6 scoreless innings. He walked 1 and struck out 4, had 11 ground ball outs.
Outstanding job by BRADEN SHIPLEY tonight. An outstanding job by the offense to spot him to some early runs. Gene Segura with that leadoff homer. Can't get him much earlier than that.
Segura's 5th career leadoff home run, his 4th this season. And Michael Bourne, who took over in left field for Ricky Weeks Jr., leads off the 8th against Pedro Baez. Dodger bullpen is quiet right now. And no one is throwing for the Diamondbacks either. So Bourne, Castillo, Tomas, 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona 8th. Michael Bourne, 264 and 2 homers. He singled, had an RBI, scored a run last night. Michael Bourne's been a terrific pickup for the Diamondbacks. He's hit safely in 5 straight games. He's hit in 7 of the 8 games on this road trip.
Right, throughout it all, has played tremendous defense in center field during this stretch of the season where Chip has had to use infielders in the outfield and move guys from corner to corner. And Michael Bourne's been the one constant out there in center field.
Remember that game in Coors Field where he had a third baseman, a shortstop, and a catcher as the starting outfield in Denver. This is guy to center for Peterson.
It always helps to have a veteran out there, kind of a captain of the outfield. Certainly Michael Bourne's played a lot of games in center field in his career, but I know from experience playing those corner outfield spots, if you look over to the center fielder and kind of put your hands up, okay, am I in the right place? And they go, I don't know. Oh man, that's a scary feeling. But you look over to Michael Bourne, he will always tell you where you should be based on where he's positioned.
A Gold Glover in center field back in 2009 and 10. Wellington Castillo 0 for 3. There's a strike. Called strike 3. Castillo strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. And there are 2 outs. J.P. Howell, the left-hander, started warming up in the Dodger bullpen. As Tomas comes up, Jake Lamb is on deck. He would be next. Another good night for Yasmani. He has doubled, singled, scored a run. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
Hey, D-back season ticket holders, it's almost time to renew your season tickets. Be on the lookout for your renewal that will be arriving via email soon. If you have any questions, call us at 602-514-4444 or log on to dbacks.com/advantage.
Good sized Diamondback contingent here with us tonight. Well, this may be the road trip that years later we look back on and saying that's when Yasmani Tomas really started figuring it out. He's hitting .375 on this trip coming into tonight. 4 doubles, 4 homers, and 10 RBIs. Bounces this one to third for Turner. And Pedro Baez works a 1-2-3 8th inning. Diamondbacks lead in LA 4-1. The entire ballpark is vibrating right now.
People in Mesa are dancing to the music here at Dodger Stadium.
It's like a 747 flying right over the ballpark. Adam Loewen, who was out there facing Chase Utley when Scott Van Slyke was thrown out trying to steal second to win the 7th. We'll start over with Utley again to start the 8th. And the Diamondbacks have 2 righties warming up in the bullpen. Delgado and Barrett. 2 lefties will start off the inning, Utley and SEAGER. Chase Utley doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. The Diamondback debut of Adam Loewen. There's the Diamondback bullpen. Adam Loewen, born in Surrey, British Columbia. He is the first Canadian-born pitcher in Diamondback history. A 4th overall pick in the 2002 draft by the Baltimore Orioles. Signed with the Diamondbacks last October. Loewen spent much of last season pitching for the Phillies AAA team, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs in the International League, and did very well there. 33 appearances, a 2.15 ERA, 60 strikeouts in 46 innings. Made 20 of big league appearances with the Phillies last year, all in relief. 2-2. Full count, SEGURA on deck. With Chase Utley in the leadoff spot, he's seen 28 pitches tonight. Grounded out, doubled. Now a full count against Loewen. left center field. Long run for Chris Owings, and he runs it down on the warning track. Nicely done. Some COD right there.
Shortstop, number 5, Corey Seager.
Chris Owings has the speed to play center field. He made up a lot of ground to catch that ball, slicing away from him toward that gap in left center. Made it look fairly easy.
Yeah, good to see him running on that foot. Chris Owings out 37 games with the plantar fasciitis in that left foot. Seager doubled in the third, 1 for 3. Adam Lowen, when he was drafted by the Orioles as a starting pitcher, 4th overall, never really worked out for him in Baltimore. Had a stress fracture in his elbow. Life as a starting pitcher, in fact, wasn't working out, so he converted into an outfielder with the Blue Jays and made it to the big leagues as an outfielder. Played a couple of years with their AAA team in Las Vegas at .306, 17 home runs. Was a September call-up with the Blue Jays. That was 5 years ago. Went 6 for 32. 2 more years in the minor league, so he went back to pitching, and now here he is.
Well, something to keep in mind if you get jammed up in an extra inning game and need a bat.
Had more than 500 at bats in the minor leagues in 2011. Hit .306 with 17 homers. But behind on Seager, 3-1. Threw that one over the head of his catcher, and Seager has a 1-out walk.
Zoom ball.
Justin Turner will be the batter. Delgado and Barrett are ready in the bullpen. Turner doubled in the first. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Mike Butcher quickly to the mound. That's one thing with Lowen. He's no kid out there. He's been around the block a couple of times, in fact. So in a very large and real sense, knows what he's doing out there. Good tail on the phone with Garvin Alston. Both Delgado and Barrett have stopped throwing. They're ready. There they are. You might just try and get through Turner to let him face Gonzalez, who's on deck with 1 out. Comes inside to the right-hander, but missed, and it's 1-0. Fought that one off. A ball and a strike on Justin Turner. Hitting .340 since the All-Star break with 5 homers. Fly ball center field. Owings again runs it down. Another running grab by Chris Owings in center. And that's the 2nd out. That was headed for the gap.
Great first step by CO, and once again that speed covering ground, taking away extra bases from Justin Turner.
And now Lowen will get to work to the left-hand hitting Gonzalez with SEGURA at first and 2 outs. Gonzalez tonight has walked, single, grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Pitcher spot is up next for LA, and Chris Taylor is in the on-deck circle. Foul back. Low and ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Gonzalez, after struggling through a difficult month of June, he hit only .223. Has been much better in July, hitting over .300 this month. The 0-2 from Adam Lowen. He drives it the other way, a base hit. SEGURA will take the turn and head for third, and he's in there. Dodgers will get the tying run to the plate with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Chris Taylor will hit for the pitcher. Another case of Adrian Gonzalez going the other way.
I think we're going to see the righty now.
Chip Hale coming out to talk to Bill Miller. Well, he's had 2 of them ready back there. Kenley Jansen will start to warm up in the Dodger bullpen. He got his 31st save here last night. We'll sort it all out when we come back. Here comes Jake Barrett, 2 outs in the 8th. Two on, 2 outs, tying run at the plate here in the LA 8th. And the new pitcher, the right-hander Jake Barrett, a 2.65 ERA, his 44th appearance. He worked a scoreless inning Thursday in Milwaukee. Chris Taylor will hit for the pitcher. Taylor's only big league home run came at Chase Field earlier this month, a grand slam off Silvino Bracho. That was the ball game in which he finished only a single shy of the cycle.
0 for 5 as a pinch hitter off of Dave Roberts' bench this season.
Corey Seager is the runner at third. Adrian Gonzalez at first. 2 outs. Swing and a miss by Taylor, 0-1. David Peralta takes over in right field, replacing Yasmani Tomas. Peralta will hit 9th. Pitcher spot now 6th for the Diamondbacks. Barrett ahead 0-2. Chris Taylor between the Mariners and the Dodgers this year, hitting just under .230 with a home run. Fly ball center field for Chris Owings. Owens records all 3 outs in the inning. Jake Barrett comes in and puts out the fire. Diamondbacks head to the 9th with a 4-1 lead. Tomorrow afternoon series finale. And the new pitcher for LA with 2 left-handers coming up in the inning. Jake Lamb and David Peralta. It's the veteran lefty J.P. Howell, who has worked scoreless relief in 15 of his last 16 outings.
3 lefties that the Dodgers have available out of the bullpen. Diamondbacks trying to get a little more balance in that bullpen with the addition of the 2 lefties today. It's always nice to have that second and sometimes third left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen. You never know when a situation might arise early in the game where you need a lefty to face Adrian Gonzalez. Roll back around 2 or 3 innings later, and here comes Adrian Gonzalez. It's nice to have that second lefty.
You saw Justin Turner running across your picture there as Jake Lamb leads off the inning. Turner running over from third base all the way to short right field as the Dodgers put on the shift. Jake singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. I'm surprised more teams don't shift, Bob, the way the Dodgers do here, because it allows you to keep your second baseman, in this case Chase Utley, right where he's supposed to be if you need turn to play at second. Makes it a longer run for the third baseman over there, but Jake Lamb waves at that one. Grandal completes the strikeout.
I think the shift defense is going to continue to evolve. We may see more stuff next year that we've never seen before. Big breaking ball from Howell ends up in the dirt.
Number 16, Chris Owings.
Grandal will throw on to first to complete the strikeout. I mean, we've come a long way already with the shift. It used to be you would shift occasionally depending on if a guy was a dead pull hitter, but you never really practiced the shift. What do you do if the ball's put into play? Who covers third base now? There's nobody on the left side of the infield but the shortstop. You know, just a lot of little nuances of the shift defense that day by day teams are figuring out a little bit more and a little bit more.
And it used to be, for whatever reason, that you would only shift against left-hand hitters, but now we see right-hand shifts all the time. Chris Owings had an RBI double in the second. He's 1 for 3.
I mean, like we just saw with the Dodgers, putting the third baseman on the first base side of the field, leaving the shortstop to cover the entire left side by himself. And initially, everybody just scooted over. Second baseman would move over a little bit closer to first. The shortstop would slide over to the other side of the bag, and the third baseman was left to cover the whole left side of the infield.
Some teams like the Rockies, who have Nolan Arenado, leave their third baseman as the only guy over there. Other teams leave the shortstop. He gets Co's feet moving that time, and he's ahead 2-1. There is no one warming up in the Diamondback bullpen, so it looks like Jake Barrett will continue on after getting the final out of the 8th inning and try and do what Kenley Jansen did last night, get the 4-out save. And it really seems like they're looking at Jake Barrett as a possible closer for 2017. Adam Lowe in his Diamondback debut tonight, just called up from the minor leagues before the ball game today. One of 2 lefties brought up along with the rookie Steve Hathaway. 3-1 to CO. And he drives that to center. Peterson makes a nice running grab. They had a tribute to Vin Scully here Thursday night. Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac played. It was a whole big gala event, but they put a stage out there in center field, and you can really see the damage that did to that outfield grass out there. It's got some dead spots. Here's the great Vin Scully working just to our right here. Look at that. Pictures of Stevie Nicks and Vin Scully were blowing up Twitter the other night. First at bat tonight for David Peralta. 0 for 2 in his opener last night, back after he missed 35 games with that lower back strain. Gets this one carved the other way. A long run for Van Slyke, and it drops in foul ground. David has played in only 42 games this season because of wrist and back injuries. He has been sorely missed.
Now the back really flared up on that trip to Philadelphia, where we spent 5 nights in Philly.
Yeah.
Had an off day, and David said he felt he slept a little bit too much on the off day, trying to recover, catch up on his sleep a little bit, woke up with a bad back, and it just got worse from there.
Well, he has said a lot of it is the working out in between games. I mean, he is a relentless worker, and he's admitted, all right, I need to work out a little bit less, pull back on the intensity of some of those workouts in the weight room. I followed a similar program.
Yeah,
I've cut back.
I've tried to scale back just so I don't get hurt.
Peralta gets this in the air. Andrew Toll's got a late break out there. He's at the track, and he can't get it. He hit his head against the wall, and the freight train is flying into third. Oh, he got a terrible read on that one. Andrew Toll's a very late break, and by the time he backed up, he was on the warning track, and the ball was off the wall. The freight train's at third base. And here come the Dodger trainers to have a look at Andrew Toles, who hit his face up against that out-of-town scoreboard. Bam! Oh, he hit that hard.
What a really, really bad jump. Like he didn't see the ball off the bat initially. Oh. Man, oh man. Wow. Didn't even get his hands up to protect himself that time. You can see the left side of his face there above his mustache already swollen.
Got some blood on there. That's that graphic video board, and he hit it face first. But boy, that ball was hit out there, and he just froze for what seemed like a good 4 or 5 seconds and finally broke back. And by then it was too late even with his speed.
Yeah, most of the time the outfielder will sense that he's getting close to that barrier and get an arm or a hand up to protect himself. That time Toles was just running full speed and hit that wall face first.
Well, it scored a triple for David Peralta. He's standing at third base with 2 outs, and the hitter will be Gene Segura as they get a look at the rookie Andrew Toles. Boy, that reminded you of the ball that Chip Hale hit in the minor leagues when Rodney McRae ran through the wall. Of course, Bryce Harper did that in this ballpark a couple of years ago. And he's learned to scale that back a bit.
Yeah, there's an old saying in this game, the wall is undefeated.
Yep. Harper, when he did that, it was a lot like Toles. He was running full bore right into that wall and injured himself. And everybody said that this kid has got to calm down a little bit, otherwise he's not going to survive. Unfortunately, Toles is okay. Took a real shot to the grill.
Yeah, you should see the other guy.
Oh. But a chance for the Diamondbacks to tack on another run. Peralta at third with 2 down.
And Dave Roberts on his way back to the third base dugout is going to make a pitching change.
Well, he figured since he's out there.
As long as I'm here.
So we'll take a break from LA. Lewis Coleman on his way in. Back in a bit. Diamondbacks lead at 4-1. And the new pitcher for the Dodgers on to face Gene Segura, the right-hander Lewis Coleman. He worked in that ball game last night. Gave up a base hit to Wellington Castillo, then got Brandon Drury to hit into a double play. Segura tonight has homered and doubled. He's been hit by a pitch his last time. Oh, there's a strike. Reaches out and lifts it in the air to Peterson in center. And Coleman comes in, strands the 2-out triple by Peralta. Bottom 9th coming up. The Diamondbacks have a 4-1 lead. ninth with a 4-1 lead as the Diamondbacks look to get the equalizer in the second game of this 3-game series with Patrick Corbin scheduled to start tomorrow afternoon. YASMANI, Grandal, Andrew Toles, and Jock Peterson are due up 6, 7, and 8 in the LA ninth. Grandal singled in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Bullpen quiet for the Diamondbacks. Shift is on. There's a strike at 96, and it's 0-1. You've got Lamb and Drury on the right-hand side along with Goldie. Segura all by himself in the shortstop spot. Oh, and 2. Grandal, a switch hitter. 13 of his 14 homers have come from the left-hand side of the plate. Missed with that one. Bill Miller says no, and it's 1-2.
Two really firm fastballs followed by a changeup that's right there. Come on.
That's a terrific pitch. Sailing down and away from the lefty. Caught the corner, but he didn't get the call. Now that there's 2 strikes, Segura, who was over near the third base bag, has moved over closer to where the shortstop would normally be. That left-hand side is wide open for Grandal.
Yeah, Grandal is a left-handed hitter that will occasionally try to bunt against that shift, but in a 2-strike count, he's going to be swinging away, so Gene just gives him that entire left side of the field.
Missed away with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's a full count, 3-2. Brings the heat again. Jake Barrett has pitched scoreless baseball in his last 12 appearances, and during that time Jake has given up only 7 hits. Fly ball to center for Chris Owings. Backing up, it's carrying on him. He's got room right at the wall for out number 1.
Right fielder number 60, Andrew Toles.
Well, Andrew Toles, after that face plant into the wall, is just fine, and he will hit with 1 away. Walked and scored his last time up. He's 0 for 2. And they will play him straight away. Chappelle told us today they would like to see that 2017 bullpen emerge over the final 2 months of this year, and you can bet they're looking at Jake Barrett. They like what they see. Ground ball to second base for Brandon Drury. 2 outs. Jake totaled 15 saves last year between Mobile and Reno. So he's been in these situations before, at least in the minor leagues. And with 2 down, he'll work to Jock Peterson. Peterson tonight 0 for 3. Shift goes back on against the left-hand hitter. Fastball missed, and it's 1-0. Only one Diamondback rookie has ever recorded a save at Dodger Stadium, Juan Gutierrez in 2009. Jake already with 2 saves this year. He's behind on Peterson, 3 balls and no strikes. Scott Van Slyke is on deck. No one throwing in the bullpen. Taking all the way, and there's strike 1. There's a tapper up the first base line, and it goes foul at the last moment. Oh, that just turned foul right in front of the bag. That would have been the ball game.
Yeah, just a smothered ground ball by Peterson right down that first baseline. Goldie tried to come in and get it as quickly as he could, but just past the bag in foul territory.
Todd Tishner down there. So a full count on Jock Peterson, 3-2. Here's a deep drive, and that one's going to go. Halfway up the seats in right center, Jock Peterson, his second home run of the series, his 15th of the year, and it's a 4-2 ball game. Well, Jock Peterson now 15 home runs this year, 14 of them against right-handers. And he got a pitch to hit.
Yeah, center cut fastball just below the belt. Peterson knows he got every bit of that one.
That's his 5th RBI in this series, and now Jake Barrett will work to Scott Van Slyke. Van Slyke had an RBI single his last time up. Strike 1. Bullpen still quiet for the Diamondbacks. Barrett about to throw his 20th pitch of the ball game. Diamondbacks have the shift on the left-hand side for Van Slyke. Goldie all by himself on the right. They got a move in his feet. No, I don't think Bill Miller is going to give him the base. No, Bill Miller says that didn't hit you. Van Slyke is almost all the way to the bag there, but Bill Miller the entire time just pointing to that right-hand batter's box. And he's hearing it from Dave Roberts. Yeah, never touched him. Right through the wickets.
Well, Van Slyke was indicating they got him on the back of the left calf.
Hit by pitch is subject to review, and the headsets will come on. Bill Miller never flinched. He never signaled toward first base. He just kept pointing down to that right-hand batter's box the whole time. So from his perspective, there was never a doubt.
Boy, how did it not hit?
That is the question, isn't it? Went 5-hole on Van Slyke. going to give him the base.
No,
They're going to always point into the plate.
Yeah, pointing to the batter's box. Going to have to continue the at bat.
Yeah, they got that call right. So Van Slyke will stay up there with a 1-1 count. That didn't take long. One and two.
Yeah, really, if you think about it, that's a pretty smart move on the part of Scott Van Slyke. Dodgers are just looking to get the tying run to the plate any way they possibly can, and Van Slyke thought he could sneak down that first baseline, and maybe Bill Miller would just assume that he got hit by the pitch.
Good call. Todd Tishner says no, and it's 2-2. Chase Utley on deck. Got him, and the Diamondbacks win it. Jake Barrett gets the save, brushes off the Peterson homer, and blows away Van Slyke.